Hold on. Val Temple map? You're kidding. An actual Val Temple map? That's bullshit. Do you know how hard the boss is in Val Temple?
My spirit is spent.
That's this map here. This is the absolute worst boss ever. I mean, the good thing is, we are bleed immune, right? We are bleed immune. So I think the boss will be okay to do, right? And there is no map modifiers. But still, I think that's a little bit unfair. Holy shit. Imagine getting a Val Temple map as your Conqueror spawn. I mean, my character is Tanky. He really is. But on this map, I actually consider doing a safety portal in front of the door. Okay, we need to be careful here. First, we need to kill her. Hey, you gotta be careful in this map, dude. Hey, that's gonna be harder than all the Conquerors and Saras, dude.
I can't do this.
That's fucking bullshit. That's actually fucking bullshit. Okay, there we go. Ah, this is a pretty good build showcase, dude. Actually, a good build showcase, dude. Get a nice bleeding off or no? Actually disgustingly low damage, dude. Holy shit. Let's blame the map mods. How was that? That was sick map mods, dude. Did you see the map mods? Monsters have 90% avoid bleeding now. That was like sick map mods, dude. 69% more monster life. God. I hate this camera movement. I know you can set it off in the settings, but
Pain will be endless. Sloth. I shall free you. Lonesome!
why not Elder Citadel bow? Yikes.
Is that
Can we do the Metamorph? Ah. Did I just get a currency drop at the end? Nice.
do this just yet.
Big boy currency.
Cool winds. Be careful.
Killed countless thousands. What's one more?
And of justice.
Force of arms.
Ja moin! Hey, actually 2 Conquerors, 2 Awakened Gems. 20... Finally lucky enough to get some Awakened Gems, and then there are 10 Chaos. What the fuck, dude? Seriously? This is when the game just wants to tell you, you know what? Fuck off. You know, this...
Warm nights.
What's the next? Awakened, I don't know. Arrow Nova support, or whatever it's called. Better hunt those 10 KOs, Awakened Gems, dude. Because who needs an Awakened Spell Edge, you know? Cascade, Hex Touch. What else? Cast on Crit, you know? Awakened Melee Splash. Who needs all of that? Multi-Strike. If you can just use Melee Splash. Melee Fizz, I meant, like, the other way around. Whatever. Who needs that? Awakened Burning Damage is also like, hey, I'm calling the Awakened Burning Damage in a minute. You're gonna see.
I can't do this just yet.
With your death, this nightmare may finally end.
This boss is so shitty to hit when he is moving.
Continue alive. I'm better. Out. Strike.
Okay, we got a good bleed off. That's fine. That's the thing with Slaughter's Coil. Your damage can be like 40% less damage or 40% more damage. So the chance is 1 out of 80 shots to actually hit like a very, very strong bleeding.
Did you really think this would work?
Cirrus, please, we want to help you. Don't do anything hasty.
Destroying you is
Not even using the life flask? Why do I need a life flask when I have thousands of life regen?
boring and
Because my Watcher's Eye is not getting calculated in, sadly.
You want the Atlas? Take it. It's yours. But
Oh no!
Orith, I will burn to the ground.
She's just touching his ass, dude.
suffering
See
of
that?
my fellow citizens will
He
find
dead, she's touching. What the fuck?
What
What's this? A real challenge? You finally caught my attention. Die.
Why run? What's the point? Fury of the cosmos. Be utterly annihilated. Pointless.
Pointless! What are we gonna get for drops? I'm pretty sure we're gonna get the gloves and nothing else. And they will break on the first vial, like always.
I am not so foolish. Die. Be silent.
There's only horror. Your lives are meaningless.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get the awakened burning damage. That's missing in our beautiful list of useless gems.
I can't do this just yet.
What? Did I just... Hey, this is league number 500. And this... this boss is still buggy, dude.
Do you yet see the futility of your efforts? Die. Die.
This city is nothing.
But this character is so chill. Since we have over 1,000 life regen per second. Is so much... Dude, I even ran Labyrinth with this character. Me! I was running Labyrinth.
Fury of the cosmos. Why resist?
Woo.
Obliteration.
The edge of death, my heart races. I am alive.
When I run lab with a character, then I'm gonna be tanky as fuck, dude.
Non-existence. Everlasting fire.
Peeks! 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 Oh, come on! Peeks! Wow! You rich! Hey, we actually rich. Not even gloves, dude. 2 hours of grinding for that special moment to get the best loot in the game. Nothing else. And you don't even get gloves. You know, what am I supposed to gamble now? Should I just vial the helmet and get 1 max power charge or something? I mean, they are kinder as the gloves. They break on the first vial orb, you know? It's just the other helm slot. Like, yeah. Mapping is just so profitable, dude. Actually profitable. Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, another update for the Bleed Bow character, and this time around, I choose to go with a champion, which is new in the series. So, first of all, I do want to apologize for people that are waiting for crazy fancy builds in this league, but I had a pretty rough league start. I'm going to go over that a little bit later, yeah. So I just really enjoy this build, and it's just a pleasure and so much fun to play Bleed Bow champions or gladiator or characters in general. And I think this build developed as my most favorite build of all time, I would say. Like, there is always like great builds and top 5 builds, but I don't know what it is, but this build just is so much fun to play for me, and I just like it. And yeah, this is the version number 4, I think, because like 2 or 3 leagues ago we played the Scion with the Exile helmet. That was max block, actually, so it was a Scion with like Gladiator and the Necromancer Ascendancy with a bow with trigger socketed spells for the Bone Offering and stuff. So that was actually max block, but I thought it was kind of slow. Then my big success story with the Bleed Bow Gladiator that I tested in like, I think in Delirium League, or I think it was Delirium League, where I had so much fun with it, and I was like, holy shit, this character has potential, right? And that's why I took it into the league start of last league, which was the Heist League, and no major surprise, it was a big success. I cleared all content with these. I did over 100 Cyrus carries early on in the league, so it was just great to play. In this league, I choose to go with the Bleed Bow Gladiator again for build number 8 in this league, I think. But to make it a different approach on it, I choose to go with the Replica Pharos 4 and the Replica at Series Equity, gaining myself the Perfect Agony and playing a crit-based version of a Bleed Bow character, which had insane DPS, like 2 times, 3 times more DPS than any of my Bleed Bow characters before, but for the cost of survivability. And I just say I do had enough DPS with my non-crit version, so I choose to go with a super tank or very tanky character, going with a new vitality that is basically now reserving life, like reserving flat life instead of percentage life, you know, taking a shit ton of life nodes. And if this character will be geared up finally, or finishing building up this character, I would be somewhere around 8,000 life with about 2,000 life regeneration and still having like more than 3 million Shaper DPS for my puncture, which is kind of insane and ridiculous. And it's so tanky because we're going to have ailment immunity. Through the Champion Ascendancy, we have permanent Fortify, so we get less damage taken from hits. We have like extra regen when we taunt enemies, they are doing less damage. We have free war banners, we are ailment immune, we are stun immune. We have like this character, like it offers quite a lot, right? And if you're wondering, which is probably one of your main questions, should you reroll your Gladiator into a champion? I would say depends on your currency, okay? So if it's league start, if you have low currency or mediocre currency, let's say like 10, 15, 20x or so, I would definitely stick to the Gladiator. First of all, you have Bleed Pops, which is an insane clear. Then you have the Challenger charges, makes you insanely fast. Then you have, like, through Endurance and Frenzy charge, you do more physical damage and reduced physical damage taken, and also the 30% more bleeding damage coming from your Ascendancy. This is all things that the champion is missing. But why do I still pick the champion? As I said, because of the defensive layers that I have over here, and for the clear, like, as soon as you have an Explode chest, you can, like, basically, the Explode chest feels better than the Bleed Explosion from the Gladiator, but for League Star and so on, the Bleed Explosions are insane, right? But as I said, like, it's just based on your currency. Because if you have low currency, you need the more damage of the bleed, you need the bleed pops. But once you have like a decent bow for bleeding, right? If you have an explode chest and you, yeah, that's pretty much all you need. And probably a Malevolence, a Mana Reservation, Amulet and stuff like that. Then I would say champion might be the better thing because it is so freaking tanky. And now I'm not even having Flesh and Stone or anything. Like, remember on the Bleed Bow Gladiator, I have like Male Violence, Pride, Flesh and Stone, War Banner, right? I still have the War Banner because it's free, but I skipped the Flesh and Stone, which is a lot of damage for the Vitality. And therefore, I'm getting shit tons of regen. And in addition to that, I'm also currently trying to get my maximum Chaos Resistance next to the Ailment Immunity and stuff like that. So if we take a look at the path of building, I always said if you have 2 million bleed DPS, which is kinda not too hard to reach as the Gladiator, thanks to the 30% more damage, you're easily doing all content. I do have to say I have to revert my, like what I said, my statement, because this character currently has a 1.6 million DPS, and I'm just running through the content there. It's super easy. I'm not one-shotting bosses, don't get me wrong, but as you saw in the map footage, besides Sebal Temple, that was actually weird, I have no problems at all. In the Siren's fight, I can just run through his Quadra Beam, basically. I'm not dying. I'm ailment immune, I'm shock immune, I'm ignite immune, all of that shit. I'm currently bleed immune thanks to my Watcher's Eye, with the unaffected by bleeding, by malevolence, for example, or malevolence, what I always call it. And the life region is just so superior, because I don't really want to count on Leech, just because you want to have fast attacks to get your life leech cap up, right? When you're fighting Cyrus, you're just shooting one arrow after the other. It's hard to leech, you know? And without the life regen, it's kind of rough to sustain your life pool, right? And with this character, I have absolutely no problems. And it's currently level 95, so I leveled this up like 2 days ago. I don't know what playtime we have, like 1 day, 12 hours, so 1.5 days. From level 90 to 95, I died a total of 3 times, I think, which is kind of weird, because I still call it very tanky, but it has been hundreds of maps, and it's absolutely no problem. The only 3 deaths that I had, first was in Delph. I was running into the darkness because I was searching for a fractured wall, right? And I just, like, forgot to press flares, because, yeah, I'm a bad player, right? That was the first death. The second death was actually a ghosted syndicate member. How unlucky do you have to be to spawn, like doing the Yunmes, daily missions, right? Spawn some syndicate members, and there is a ghost nearby, and I actually got one shot by a ghosted syndicate member, which was kind of unfortunate. And the third death was the one that you saw in the footage in the Val Temple, which was just kind of weird, you know. But yeah, in the footage I was level 94, so after that I was just finishing the level, and now we're level 95. Absolute no problem to do all content, right? So what are the changes to the crit bow version? Obviously a lot, just because we're not going for crit. I will go over the items a little bit to just mention what I would like to have on those items, and I'm not even using any awakened gems, right? Currency is short in this league, just because I had a rough league start. But yeah, let's say before I go over the character, right, my league start. So I started with my Crackling Lance character, right, which was not really that great for a league start. I'm pretty sure it might be good when you have currency and get like your impulsor and whatnot. Might be pretty good, but as a league starter, quite not. Then I revamped the character to an Auto-Bomber Necromancer, which worked out. I could afford 2 Storm Secrets early on. I had like 100 Chaos or so, but without Impulsor on the Occultist, or at least on the Necromancer, it just felt quite clunky to play an Auto-Bomber without the Exploit Chest, right? Then I said, like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to play the Poison Blade Vortex Assassin as my third character, which ended up clearing entire content. The video is like on day 3 or something, we started that one. It took like 2 or 3 days, and the entire content was clear. All 32 Watchstones, Saurus, we did Deathless. Very good character. Then I had like approximately 30 exalts to play with for the next character, and I decided to go with an Astral Projector Trickster with the new or revamped Discharge to make them like range ignite based discharge with ignite proliferation, right? That did not work out the way I wanted because of the power charge sustain. I wanted to use Stormfire for ignite because it was an Archmage. And also the Astral Projector, so I could not use Ramira's Banquet, for example, for the power charge generation, so I could actually use the discharge, right? So I scrapped this idea, went into a mana stacking Archmage Ignite, which just felt too slow for me, you know, like, I really like the build, but it's more like for pushing into 5-way deliriums where you don't need to have like 200% movement speed. But for the early currency, it was just too slow. So I scrapped all of that, and by the way, I had an Ivory Tower that soaked up 4,000 fusings to get linked. That was like early on in the league, like 20x. So of the 30x that I had from the Trickster, or after the Blade Vortex Assassin actually, only 20x were just going into fusings, right? And then I wasn't happy with this character either, so I scrapped everything again. And this was then the time when I made the Bleed Bow, the first version of the Bleed Bow, then the crit version. So this is build number 10, I think. And my Astral Plate here, it took about... Like, usually you should buy the White Knight cards to get an item level 100 Crusader Astral Plate and then alt spam so you can make an imprint before you merge it with, like, Frenzy on hit or anything else, right? Since I have my OCD and I want to have an item level 86 one instead of the level 100, which is no difference at all, I still did it, and yeah, I spent about 2,500 fusings on this one, which was about 12 exalts, and I spent about 4,000 alterations, which is another like 13, 14 exalts just to hit the Explo mod once, okay? So just based on that, I'm pretty sure I lost like 40 exalts just by trying to link stuff or crafting items. It was a rough league start, but now I'm on a very comfort state with this character to clear all content, to really farm up everything. And yeah, as I say again, this character is an absolute pleasure. Good, so let's start about the character. I have the Vitality Reduced Mana Reservation, which is better than the Pride or Malevolence Mana Reservation, just for a little bit. I don't know why. Path of Building told me this reserves the most amount, or the least amount of mana, so I went with this one. Preferably would be an Elder Helmet with a -9 physical around enemies, right? Like nearby enemies have -9 physical damage reduction, whatever, or take 9% increased physical damage. The bow, yeah, Elder Citadel bow, item level 83, spammed with Jagged Fossils. You can do Jagged and Corroded, but I think just Jagged Fossils alone are pretty good. You want to hit the bleed modifier and then as high physical damage as you can get. For the quiver, physical damage over time, which is a hunter modifier, then life, resistance, physical damage to attack, something like that, or even the dot multi on the second suffix or so, which would be pretty good. For the chest, I choose to go with the Explo merch with the Frenzy Charge on hit to sustain my Frenzy Charges, which is a super nice more damage. You can take percent life, you can take, I don't know, there's a lot of things to do, or you just take a rare chest with the Explo mod with just life and resistance and you're fine, right? For the ring, here I have a Warlord ring, Chaos spam this one for vulnerability on hit, which is a big damage increase. Monsters take increased physical damage, and also bleeding we inflict deal damage 20% faster, which is insane. And as well as this is on hit, means all the enemies that we hit have this debuff. So my Explo chest, which is dealing physical damage, does also more damage, and you notice that difference once you have the vulnerability on hit ring. Here is a Cockwork ring, which is a new experimental base type, which has one less prefix but one more suffix, which is great because now because there is not a lot of like prefixes that we can have. We can have life, physical damage to attacks, and if you have an open prefix, you can craft minus mana cost of non-channeling skills, for example, right? But on this ring, we can actually have 4 resistance. This one is a bad example because a 2-stone ring would be the same one, but you can actually get like 4, 8, like probably like 180 resistance on that one if you hit like 3 times T1 and craft like some hybrid rest or something, which can be really great. For the gloves, I would like to have physical damage over time modifier with an open suffix, so we can craft the chance to avoid elemental ailment, same as on the helm, so I get my complete ailment immunity, so 25 makes it 50, plus 20 from the thick skin cluster, and the elegant form, which gives another 30%, so we are on 100% chance to avoid elemental ailments. The Reslatter's Call is pretty good. You can also take a Headhunter if you want to, or a Stygian Wise, but damage-wise, the Reslatter's Call is insane. You have less minimum damage and more physical damage. So if you would do a scale, right, you are in the middle. That's your average damage, right? So you're hitting puncture after puncture after puncture, and you're always going to have one of those rolls, right? And don't forget, the highest bleed always counts. That means if you have a hit that has like 48% more damage, more maximum physical damage, your bleeds are going to do insane damage, right? So DPS-wise, Reslatter's Call, definitely. For the boots, life resistance, that's like 5 chaos I paid for those, I think. So pretty garbage on that part. But I would like to have Hunter boots with bleeding faster, or you can go with Shaper with the ailment immunity, for example, or chance to avoid elemental ailments, so you have an open spot for like a unique helm or a unique gloves, like the Crown of the Inward Eye or something like that might also be an option. For the enchant, I would probably go for the life regen. The other ones doesn't really bring something. And if you're wondering why not Tailwind boots, because we are RT, we never deal critical strike, so we cannot even proc that. You can also like skip the RT and go for the Worthy Foe, so enemies taunted by you cannot evade attacks. That means you basically have RT as your ascendancy, and then you can actually go with something like Tailwind Elusive boots or something like that. For the gems, Ensnaring Arrow with a GMP, Ballistic Totem, and Maim support. Then we have a Split Arrow with Vicious Projectiles, Deadly Ailments, Chain support, Fork and Brutality. You can go Chain Fork, I just like this one more, or you go Pierce, it's up to you. Then we have Puncture with Vicious Projectile, Deadly Ailments, Swift Affliction, Chance to Bleed, and Brutality. Then on the gloves we have War Banner, the Molten Shell on my left click, so I'm always having that active, and for danger situations I have my Val Molten Shell, can also be Steel Skin. Then we have Second Wind with the dash support, and this one, Anomalous Second Wind, gives you 1 extra charge, that's why I'm having 3 dashes over here. And in boots we have Pride, Enlighten, Male Violence, and the Vitality, which is like super insane. Good for the Flasks, Forbidden Taste, since I have Chaos Resistance, I'm not gonna degen if once I activate that one. An Enduring Mana Flask, just because mana is short, I can only shoot like once, but when I have this one on I can like permanently shoot, so which is fine. Cinder Swallow with like Life Regen just for the onslaught, for the permanent uptime. The Dying Sun just for hitting my punctures a little bit better, and the Quicksilver Flask to move faster. This one has freeze immunity, which is not needed just because I'm ailment immune, I cannot get frozen, but this would be the placeholder for a potential Bottled Faith, for example, right? Good. Cosmetics, we have the Gore Skull, the Extinction Body Armor, Gloves, and Boots, the Gore, Character Effect, Gore, Bloodguard Footprints, the Heartseeker Wings, the Dragon Hunter Bow, we have the Pitch Black Bandana with the Fiery Eyes, the Crusader Weapon Effect, the Eternal Damnation Portrait Frame, and the Heartseeker Portal Effect, with the Split Arrow Demonic, then Pylon of Pain Totems, Invisible Buff Effect for the War Banner, then we have Molten Shell, Wild Dash Effect, Dragon Hunter Aura, Demonic Aura, and the Carnage Aura Effect. Let's going over to the skill tree. As I said, level 95, the last 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think 1 intelligence might be a thing once I'm actually going over to swap out some gear, just because this ring has like 40 intelligence, I think, and yeah. Other than that, here a Lionized Fall. I do know that it doesn't reach the cleaving node, but just the increased damage with hits against and ailments against bleeding enemies, plus the bleeding deals 15% faster is always worth taking. It gives you so much damage. Then we have like Watcher's Eye. I currently have Vitality Life Recovery Rate, which is not getting calculated in the spreadsheet here, but it does get calculated in the playstyle. What else do I have? Here, a Might of the Meek, just to boost all of these life nodes and the regen rate. Here, my Elegant Hubris with like double 10% life, Endurance Charge when you get hit, the double increased damage with bleeding that is calculated in the Path of Building already. And then we have non-curse hours of skill over here, and that's pretty much it. So, some last words about upgrades. I currently have, what do I say, 1.6 million DPS, right? Once I get Cluster Jewels, that means Wasting Affliction with Rend, I'm getting like up to like 3 million DPS. If I would get the 21, 23 gems and Awaken gems on top of that, I would be somewhere at 5 million DPS with this character. So there is so much upgrades to do, as well as like physical damage over time multiplier on the amulet that I'm missing. I'm missing it on the gloves. There is like a lot of upgrades, and I'm still having a lot of fun playing this character. It has insane clear speed, fair enough single target already. So at the moment, I'm just preparing this character for heist. It's going to be super tanky and super beefy, and I shouldn't have any problems going through the grand heists once we have the new patch that is coming on Monday or Tuesday, which I think also like buffs the loot from heists. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.